Howdy folks, K-Dog back here. Gonna talk about some movies as usual. Yeah, so welcome back to K-Dog's Movies. So I'm actually glad that some people do watch these videos. I do check on once in a while, see not exactly who's who's watched or anything like that, but I do check the likes. If you notice, I don't do a lot of comments because I think sometimes I do that for a little bit of self-protection. So if you like it, do give it a thumbs up, or if you don't like it, give it the thumbs down. That's that's fine. Everybody's got their own opinion. And now today I'm going to talk about a specific film. I've been on this kind of kick in the recent weeks while I was doing this fast where I took a break from actually reviewing the movies and stuff like that. So I just took a time to look at possibly how I do these videos, and how somebody that's more professional grade does them. And of course this is YouTube. I will admit I am amateur at best, even though I do have a broadcasting degree. But my funds are not able to purchase broadcast quality equipment. So yeah, I am amateur at best, and I don't pretend, and I don't want to be snobby, uptight commentator. I like watching movies, and I'm sure you do too. And we want to share each other's opinions on certain movies. But lately, I've been going through and kind of watching a difference between of the type of hosting that, let's say, Turner Classic Movies does, and hosting that somebody like Joe Bob Briggs does. And Joe Bob Briggs is more of a horror B-movie type host. He doesn't necessarily go for, now when he was on TNT, yeah, he went for the more mainstream movies, and mixed in with the B type movie. But then I've also looked at people like who have hosted Turner Classic Movies. People like Ben Mankiewicz, and Robert Osborne, and some of the hosts that they have there and how they do things. Now, obviously, even Joe Bob Briggs, they are written commentary, but it's amazing how different in perspective that they do things. While TCM is a bit more formal, is a bit professional, a bit more formal. I mean, they are open to the public opinion, to the films that they show. They even started up what's called TCM Underground, where they show like the more schlocky B movie, trashy movie. But yeah, I've been watching them on a lot of the clips that they do on that some people have put up on YouTube, and I just wanted to see what their opinions were on a lot of films. TCM stands for Turner Classic Movies, and it kind of puzzles me what they determine as a classic, because in this more recent years, they've started to show more modern, what I think is more modern films. Like they played Ron Howard's A Beautiful Mind. But if we stop and think, that came out in 2001, 2002. That was 20 years ago. Hard to believe that, but it's been 20 years. And so, but there's been some films that have been brought up that I've heard so much about. I decided to, look on Amazon, see if I could get a copy and actually view the film. Excuse me while I take a sip of a tasty beverage. But this film in particular, speaking of drinking, um, this film I'm going to talk about was actually the first time that Hollywood kind of tackled alcoholism head on. And it's a very dark and very, I don't want to say it's very Hollywoody, but it's they did what they could back in the 1940s. This came out in 1945. Won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1945. Also won Best Actor for Ray Milland. And it is The Lost Weekend, directed by Billy Wilder, starring Ray Milland and Jane Wyman. The story centers around this man, played by Ray Milland. I'm trying to think of his character's name. He's basically this struggling alcoholic. And we find that out in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And he's supposedly he has lied to his brother and his girlfriend in saying that he has given it up. And the whole time he has nailed to a rope outside the window a bottle of whiskey that he, when the brother or the girlfriend has left the room, he pulls up on the string, takes a drink, and then hides it real quick. And the film goes deep into the struggle of alcoholism, and the reason why that he is battling this addiction is because the character is suffering from a tremendous condition of writer's block. He's a writer. And so he can't think of what to write, so he keeps drinking and drinking and drinking, and he's got to have that next drink. He's got to have that next drink. Even though the money's all gone, he takes money from the cleaning lady, that the brother and him were, because him and the brother share an apartment, and the brother was going to pay the cleaning lady some money, so he ends up taking the cleaning lady's money to go buy 2 bottles of whiskey, and before you know it, he's going into the bar, he's having one drink after another, and they even, at a point, they catch him later on, even though he said that he's given it up. They know better because he's supposed to have left and gone on a trip to get away from everything and start writing his book, write his book, and they know he hasn't given it up. And it gets to a point where they send him off to the hospital because at that time, there was no such things as like the Betty Ford Center or anything like that. It was like you went to the hospital and you went to basically an insane asylum, and they would cut you off cold turkey, and you would have the visions, and he does too. But it's a deep, dark look into the battle of alcoholism. Like I said, this film came out in 1945. It was directed by Billy Wilder, and it was written or co-written by Billy Wilder and Charles Brackett, adapted from a Charles Jackson novel. Now, there is big differences between the novel and this. Now, they had to change the things in the novel because it would have not been accepted if they it was not accepted at the time because in I guess in the film he's drinking because he's drinking because he has writer's block. Basically, he's a writer and he can't get his thoughts out from his head to paper. And in the book, it goes into a little bit deeper, like a love affair and even covering up homosexuality. But that's in the book. It's not in the film because obviously that was not accepted at the time, and nor should you be rubbing that in the face of people. But but just as a film, it's a dark, almost frightening look at what a person who battles addiction. Let's just say this: that anybody who deals with addiction, we don't. It's a terrible thing to lose the people that you love, and that's what obviously comes out in this film is that they love him. They don't want him to go away, and they don't want him to die, and they show that this all can be overcome. I just kind of spoiled the ending for it, but he does overcome the addiction. But how? How? I'm not going to tell you. This is available on Amazon. It was originally a Paramount Pictures release, but somehow it has ended up in the hands of Universal Studios. And Universal has licensed it out to Kino Lorber to put it out on disc. And Kino Lorber is, these off-brand is an off-brand film distributor for DVDs and Blu-rays. The presentation looks pretty good. Being in a film from 1945, there is some special features. It features an audio commentary by film historian Joseph McBride. There was a radio adaptation, where they reenacted on radio because, this was before television really took off. There's a feature from the website Trailers from Hell with Mark Pellington. Basically, Trailers from Hell is basically a fan website where a filmmaker or some celebrity makes a video through the channel Trailers from Hell, and they watch the film trailer and they give commentary on the film and they give commentary on the trailer, and it features the trailer itself without that commentary as well. So but that's pretty much it. It's pretty much a bare bones disc, but I would encourage people to check this out. It's a wonderfully performed movie, and Ray Milland, what he goes through in this film, and according to what I saw of Turner Classic Movies, because this is one of the films I looked up and wanted to hear some of the commentary about what they had to say about it. Some trivial facts is that Ray Milland was afraid to do this movie because of the fact that, or a couple reasons. He was afraid that it would ruin his career. Second of all, Ray Milland was not an alcoholic. He had never touched alcohol in his life. He never touched alcohol in his life, but yet he pulls off this performance that is so... You want to root for him, but he's really he's terrible, but he does terrible things, but he's really a good guy, and you want him clean. You want him to be clean. But it shows... It's a dark movie. It's deep. Even for 1945, I think it's a deep film. Because this guy, he had to have that next drink. That next drink was important. It was more important than anything. It was more important than life, and more important than the people that he loved. He had to have that next drink. And that's addiction. You know, it's not just people with an addiction. It's not just the drink. It's the next toke. It's that next high. They gotta have it. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. No matter what. No matter what they do. But I'm gonna tell you something. If you are struggling with that, there is hope for you. Don't think that there isn't. There are programs out there, and I'm not just talking like the Betty Ford Center. There is, you know, there is programs, you know, especially Christ-centered programs that I would encourage. If you are dealing with that stuff, it doesn't have to be alcoholism. It can be drugs. It can be anything. Pornography. If you are struggling with an addiction, there is hope. You know, there is programs out there. You just got to know where to look. And I have my own problems. We all do. Nobody's perfect. But that being said, so yeah, it's kind of deep stuff to talk about, and watching the film, and you know, watching a man doing whatever he didn't. It's almost like he didn't care. But the thing is, the people that loved him, like his girlfriend and his brother, they didn't give up on him. Yeah, they were upset, and they were not too happy that he was hiding things. He was hiding the bottles in holes in the wall. He's hiding bottles in lamps behind bookshelves, and yeah, he was doing whatever he could to get that next drink. So, from me to you, see you later.